Have a seat, beautiful people. One more time, good morning.
Good morning.
We have 4 days. You took 4 days from your life to say, how can I get better at sharing my message with the world? That one intention deserves a round of applause for everybody here, yeah? I take it very seriously that you've given us your 4 days. And what I want to do with this 4 days is help you get here. One of the world's greatest. How do you do it? How do you do it? Especially in this room. I know a lot of these faces. I recognize you from our events, from out on the road. I've been to some of your seminars. I watched some of your videos. I spied on some of you on the internets. Not in a creepy way. But I've seen some of you out there, and I know some of you have already been speaking for a long time. How many of you have been putting your voice out there, trying, pushing, sharing your message, sharing your voice, sharing your videos, sharing yourself on stage for years? Raise your hand. Give me a big shout. How many of you are terrified by that idea? The first group's usually louder than the second group. This is the time that if you're ever going to make a commitment in your life to figure out how to present better, figure it out in the next 12 months. I know that's why so many of you are here, but figure it out. If you've ever been scared to share your voice, if you're not on video yet, if you're not consistently putting things on the web, sharing your voice, if you're not trying to find those stages to build your business yet, if you're not consistently campaigning yourself to get hired either as a speaker or to get your services or your products sold better, if you're not in a consistent process of communication with your audience, whoever that audience is, online or off, if you're not consistent and you are not enthusiastic and passionate and compassionate in that process, there is no way you get to be one of those. You got to get in the game. You got to get in the game now, and you got to do it with more heart and intensity than you've ever applied it. You probably don't need me to tell you that, but I'm sharing it because everything's about to shift. If you've studied my work before, I've been saying for 3 years, I've been talking about this moment in our human history for 3 years. Every audience, every video, every opportunity I get to talk about this moment in human history, I've been talking about for 3 years, nonstop. Some of you are like, he's going to say it again, isn't he? 3 billion new people coming online in these next 2 years. 3 billion new people. That's so beyond the concept of what we even understand. It's one of those extraordinary numbers that's hard to figure out and conceptualize. It's like trying to explain to people how amazing it is that we just flew by Pluto. Like, people don't even understand how big of a deal that is. Like, they can't even, because you know why? Guess how many miles away Pluto is? If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, we just flew a machine by Pluto. Does anyone know how far away that was? How many miles away do you think Pluto is from Earth? A lot? I'm talking to speakers. These are my people. Is he asking to do math in the morning? How many miles away? Anyone got a guess? 100 million, a billion, a couple light years, 7 million, 3 point what? 3 billion miles away. It's hard to conceptualize. If I handed you a basketball, if I gave him a basketball, and that basketball represented our sun, then I gave a marble to you, and that was Pluto. How far away would you have to walk down this street to represent his basketball being the sun, your marble being Pluto? How far would you have to walk? Got a guess? Well, you got to remember that basketball, marble, it's hard. About 2.7 kilometers down the road. That would represent that size. 3 billion miles, we just took a human machine over to Pluto, almost impossible to fathom. 16 months just to get data back, all of it. And we just basically discovered a new planet that we had said wasn't a planet a couple years ago. And what's amazing by all of this is that's the same conceptual leap I'm going to ask you to make. Because 3 billion new people will be online within the next 3 years. We're already in that process pretty heftily. We should get the numbers by the end of this September about where we're already at in the last 18 months. So 3 billion new people. What does that mean? What that means to you is this. How many of you think the world has changed since the iPhone came out? Look around the room. No, look around. How many of you, like, it changed a lot, right? Well, you know, that's when about 7% of the world even had an iPhone or a smartphone. Now watch this. Today, only 25% of the human population, only 25%, is meaningfully connected. What they mean by that, meaningfully connected, usually the data wonks, we say, that means they can watch a YouTube video kind of uninterrupted, right? I know some of you can't do that at your houses sometimes, but it usually means you can stream a video. That's basically what it means. Only 25% of the world has that ability right now. 25%. Within this 3-year period, counting this year, that's going to flip, the pyramid will flip, and 75% are going to be connected. When I heard those numbers 3 years ago, they said it's coming, I've been telling everyone, it's coming. I've been so excited. This is that first year of those 3 years that I've been telling everybody. This is that first year. The wave of people coming online to be able to communicate with people outside their states, their countries, their regions, the wave of people coming online to access video, the wave of people coming online who are going to be searching and looking for people who speak, who teach, who lead, who are thought leaders, is 3 times anything we have experienced in the last 20 years. 3 times. And here's the real thing about all of that. If you're not there in these next 3 years, this year counting one of those years, that digital divide, that ability for you to catch up, all I have to say to people is good luck. With deep compassion for your message, good luck. If you don't get in the game now and you're not there consistently, catching up is really hard. It's like folks right now, if they've never had a computer in their life, and by the way, a lot of the world has never had a computer, even though we so take it for granted if you're able to be here. It's kind of hard to catch up. You know, it's kind of like if you ever had to sit down with a millennial and have them explain something on the computer to you, you're like, this sucks. Because if you feel like you're behind now, in 3 or 4 years, you're gone. You're on another planet. You're on Pluto. I mean, you're gone. You can't catch up. I mean, think about your business. You got a local business. You're trying to market it. You're not doing anything online. You're not speaking about it passionately and persuasively. Someone will get there first and catching up. I mean, it used to be pretty easy to catch up. You just did better in your business. Excellence caught you up in the past. Excellence caught you up in the past. That was one of the main distinctions of everything. And excellence still, it will never go away. That's what will make you one of the world's greatest. Your level of excellence, your desire for that drive to say, I'm going to make this extraordinary. And some people have never internalized that. They've never said, you know, I'm going to make my message, my worth, my business, I'm going to make it extraordinary. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. You all wouldn't be here if you didn't want to live extraordinary lives. You wouldn't be here if you hadn't already dedicated that. Now the next level for all of us is, how can I make my message even more extraordinary? But now, excellence and being extraordinary isn't enough. It's just not. It's an unfortunate reality of a world that is moving more and more and more into the digital stream. And the growth curve of your life, your message, your business, it just started now. It really did. When we look back, if we're all blessed to live 20, 30, 40, 50 more years, and we look back, we're going to go, that was crazy. Just like they did in the Industrial Revolution when that really got humming along as America, especially here in America, as we expanded westward. It was like, everyone looked back, that was a crazy boom time. It was so extraordinary, that 1850 to 1920 years, that was crazy. People look back at that, they're gonna look back now and say, well, that was the same thing, but it wasn't steam engines, it wasn't locomotives, it wasn't roads and automobiles, it was the digital reality that connected the world. And my hope for you is for you to say, you know what? I'm going to become extraordinary at sharing my message. We're going to talk a lot about excellence. We're going to get you in that place where you're better than you've ever been before. We're going to bring so many of you up on stage. Some of you are going to come up and do your signature stories up on stage. You'll get an opportunity to talk for 3 minutes, and a panel of us will sit over there and work on you right here. Throughout the weekend, we'll be grabbing you guys. We'll be picking you up. We'll giving you opportunities to just try things. It's going to be awesome. But the skill is not enough anymore. It's not enough. I know a lot of speakers out there, they're extraordinary, and they're broke. I know speakers out there who are extraordinary, and if they're not on the road, their business dies. I know speakers out there who are extraordinary, but they just can't break through that next level of reach or revenue because they thought excellence was enough. And let me show you what the difference is. Excellence, gotta have it, but ubiquitous, being everywhere, that is what matters now. Being out there, having that following. And I can share it with you all. You know, this last night, I don't know, I can't remember, someone sent me the text, but last night I hit 3.2 million fans and followers on Facebook last night. And I was like, 3.2, yeah, thank you. 3.2 million? And I was like, wow, that's like Pluto to me to understand. That's so many people. You know, I grew up in towns that were, 20,000, 2,000, and 30,000. I can't imagine it. But now I can fly over San Francisco and say, oh, I reach more people than that. Isn't that crazy? I mean, for me, that blows my mind. But the best part about it isn't that ego part of saying, oh, wow, look at me. It's saying, that's a lot of people who heard what I have to say about life. There's a lot of people who wake up and watch my stuff, or wake up and see my things, or I got a note from a woman who recently had a very tragic situation in her life, and she says, I just put your playlist on YouTube on rotation, I listened to it, and you pulled me out of suicide. I've never met this person, I don't know this person, they're just watching videos on the internet. But it was that ability to say, I don't just need to be good here in front of an audience, which was my original goal. I was like, I want to be really good in front of an audience because I want to share and I want to teach and I want to do everything else. To a point where years later, I would be in front of the National Speaker Association, and you could hear a pin drop in there because I started my speech in a very controversial standpoint. I said, it's an honor to be here. All of you are my heroes. I've wanted to do this. I still don't qualify for your association, so I can't believe that I've been invited to be here. It's a huge honor. But I have to say, maybe I might have something to add, because when I look at what you're all doing, I'm not sure that I quite get it. And it might be a generational thing, or it might be my own hopes and aspirations. I told him my story about my car accident. I know some of you have heard that in the room before. You've been with us at events. I'm going to share that later. But now I'm going to teach you why and how I share that story so you can make your stories that much better. So I'll literally break it down for you and go, oh, that's why. Oh, there. Oh, that's what he's doing. But I was sharing all of this, right? And with them, and people listened to my story, people were crying, people were very into it. And I said, and I just wanted to share my message with a lot of people. How many of you want to share with your message with a lot of people? And everyone raises their hand, right? So I said that, and they're into it, they're there, And I said, but the thing is, I heard about how you all do it, and I don't have the stamina that you have. And they're like, what? I'm about to insult them, so I'm praising them first. Is it good? You ever heard how to do that? You give them some feedback, you give them the good stuff. The top of the sandwich is some praise. The meat is the feedback, and you got to end that thing with some ketchup, some mayonnaise. some of the good flavor, the good positive stuff, So I said, I don't have your stamina. I hear what you're doing, and I see how you celebrate each other. You celebrate each other in such remarkable ways because everyone in this room who told me was the best and was the biggest and the greatest, and when I talked to you and I saw the certifications after your name, I found out that, you're killing it out there. Everyone said, you're killing it out there. You're doing 50 events a year. You're doing 100, 200 events per year. And the people in this room who are doing 100 or 200 events per year, you're getting these people who are like, wow. And I would say, that's not killing it, that's killing you. That would kill me. I don't have that stamina. I don't want to be away from my family that much to have to earn my revenue. I don't want to have to be on the road that much to have to reach people like that. I like to travel, but to me, given today's technology and tools, what is possible today, and I'm going to teach you that, is what I told them, and I had 3 flip charts up there hidden. And it had 1, 2, and 3 on it. And I said, so I'm going to share with you these 3 things up here that has made it so I don't have to do that. But I also share with these 3 things, you'll reach more people than you could ever reach, even if you were on the road every day of the year. So now it's about your ambition of how many people do you want to reach? And does it have to be in person? Because if we can change that perspective using today's tools, you can go to a speech and you can speak to 4,000 people. And I do it all the time. It feels amazing. But you could also put up a video that might be viewed 1 million times. So now you have to decide, why do you choose which method? What is it about you? By the way, I don't want to ever stop doing the 4,000, but I don't want to have to do it all year. And I realize if I'm doing the 4,000, guess what happens to me? That's the only way I'm generating revenue. Today, everyone in this room, you can be killing it online without killing your life. You can be online having literally thousands. This week, no matter what happens, 300,000 people are going to watch my videos this week. No matter what I do. I could just go take a nap right now. Wake up 7 days later, I promise 300,000 people watch my stuff this week. That to me is what's exciting. That to me is also realizing that's only with 25% of the world connected. Whoa. You want to play a bigger game? Start positioning for the global world. You want to play a bigger game? Get online with automated sequences that take people through your stuff. You want to get out there in a big way? Get out of yourself in a big way. Stop freaking out about this. Stop freaking about the video. Stop freaking about are you doing it right? And just start crushing it. Just crushing it is trying your best every day. That's crushing it. So now you're trying every day you're doing your video. Every day you're putting yourself out there. If you'll do that, you'll crush it. Let me share about my ambition a little bit, and then I'm going to introduce you to some of our friends who are going to take this whole thing to another level. My ambition was very simple. I wanted to help people find their second chances in life. That was my ambition. I had that through my accident, which I'll tell you about later. But I was a young man. I was only 19 when that happened to me. And I said, I found a second chance. I got that new start. How many of you guys are in transition right now in your life? Like, you just think it's a transition point. Look around the room. It's like it's a different time. Transition from a job, a career, a life. The kids left the house. You want to try this new career. You're jumping in the new economy. You're going to try some of these new techniques. How many people are pretty excited to be alive right now, this time of the year? Say that's me. It's an exciting time to be alive, yeah? Turn to the person left, right, shake them, say, I'm so happy you came here. It's so exciting to be alive. And any message you want, you can share. Any message you want. I think what we're going to talk about, some people come to this event or they see what I'm doing or one of our other fellow trainers here and they say, wow, I want to be like that. And I say, no, find your message. If I could put you in front of 3 million people tomorrow and you had your shot, what would you want to say to them? Really. Because now, in the new tools that what's available to us today, we can all speak on anything we want. We used to think, well, I got to speak on this topic because I did that as a career for the last 10 years. I'm like, nope, you could start over. You're not hitched to the past anymore. You were always hitched to your past when you were hitched to your locality. How many follow that? Yeah, I mean, if you were the dentist in the town, people knew you were the dentist. Starting over, it was a little difficult. You kind of had to get over yourself, and you had to convince people you weren't crazy. It was difficult. Now, starting over, when locality doesn't matter anymore, this fast. No one knows you is one of the greatest lessons that I ever learned. No one knows you. No one knows me. I don't come out here pretending you all know me. I don't get on a radio or a podcast or a video. I don't pretend anyone knows me, because you know what? Most people don't. Very few people. And we've had very, very, very wealthy, extremely famous people sit in these rooms as I've taught this program, and I can tell you, no one knows them. They think everyone knows them, but they don't. No one knows you. That gives you a chance to start over and say, okay, what's my real mission? What message do I want? What's my purpose? What do I want to share? If you heard me talk about this before, one of my favorite moments on television ever, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I had a client named Paula Abdul, and she was working at this show called American Idol. And so I had to start watching it to kind of catch up and understand what was going on there. And one of my favorite scenes ever is Ryan Seacrest. He's the host of this show. And Ryan is just an enthusiastic, bubbling kind of guy, really excited, excuse me, and they're doing this little featurette on this little girl, the Samoan girl, who her dream is to be on American Idol. She can't wait. It's her dream. So they're telling the backstory. She's always wanted, little kid growing up, she wanted to be on American Idol. She's going to get this thing. She's going to do so good. And so her enthusiasm, she's winning your heart. You're like, oh, she's amazing. She's come to the auditions with her two big brothers, two big Samoan dudes like this. I mean, just big dudes, right? And so, so these two big Samoan dudes are kind of like standing like this as she's explaining her dream. She can't wait. She goes into the audition. They post the two big dudes on the outside of the audition, and they're just kind of listening, and they're standing there, and little Ryan Seacrest is right between them. And so they're stoic. They're making really no expression. They're just standing there. And she's inside. She's killing this audition. You see her coming to life. You see Paula and Simon and the dog kind of getting excited about this girl. It's a really exciting kind of thing. And they flash back out to Ryan Seacrest standing there. And one of the big Samoan dudes looks down and goes, so who are you? I laughed for like 3 days. I'm like, he's the host of the show your sister has come to today. She spent her whole life dreaming and watching the show in your house to see this thing. She can't wait, and you don't. It was hilarious. No one knew who he was. I was like, oh my gosh. He approaches every show like no one knows who he is. That's why he's one of the world's best. No one knows who you are. And I see that as not a scary thing. I see that as an opportunity. It says, so who do you want to be? No one knows you. What do you want to show to the world now? Because frankly, by the end of this weekend, I'll share with you pretty straightforward. I don't care what you were or who you were before you came into the room. All that will add to the magic of what you're going to be able to perform and display and promote and get paid for. But now it's this exciting time as the whole world goes from local of only 25% people even meaningfully connected, to 75%. We all get to start anew. All over. What do you want to communicate? What do you want to be about? What do you want to share? In the marketing world and the business world, my star was rising with Experts Academy and a lot of other trainings. It was going up and up and up and up. But I saw all these people coming on. I said, but I've always been the personal development guy. I started in personal development. My first books were in personal development. I became, my first #1 New York Times bestseller was The Millionaire Messenger, and that was more marketing driven, more expert development. But I was like, I'm the personal development guy. And so I did a pivot in my own business. I said, no. As the world comes on, I want them to see the personal development guy. That's what I care about. That's my most passionate thing. So even I changed some of my funnels, some of my languaging, some of my newsletters to bring it right back to what my core message is. And that was motivation and high performance. Those things that I love so much, because once you get your second chance or once you decide to start your life in a different way, now you just need the tools, the strategies to live your best every day. So The opportunity right now, the possibility for everybody in this room, is you're gonna have 4 days to say, what do I really wanna share? What do I really wanna talk about? Doesn't matter what I did before. Like right now, for the new wave, for the new venture, for the new business, for the new world, what do I really feel connected to? What's meaningful to me? What would I be proud of sharing if my kids watched my videos in 10 years? If my next generation got to see what I'm doing, what would I be so proud of that that's what they got to hear mom or dad or this role model talking about? Because you all get to choose now. And when you give a person choice in their life, that's their second chance. A new choice. Everyone in this room, you got a new choice. What are you gonna do with it? Where are you gonna put it? How big do you wanna play? How big on the global stage do you want to be? How much do you really wanna share your message? Is it just in your town, building your business, going around in meetings and telling about your products and service? That's great, that's local. Step one, get that done. Get good at that. Next level is now, boom, how many people do you really wanna reach? Got to get on those stages across the country. Okay, cool. That's one level two. Now, next level, how many people do you really want to reach? Got to get on video. And it doesn't have to be your face on video. It can be the sound of your voice with some images, a slide presentation or a webinar. If you don't want a video, fine. Do some podcasts. Some of the best speakers in the world right now are doing podcasts. You listen to them, you're like, wow, they learn tonality, melody, pitch, tone. I mean, they've just got their voice down and they figured it out and they sound extraordinary. But your voice needs to be out there to go to the next level of service. That's the next level of service for most of us. It's the amplification of our excellence in our speaking, in our voice, and then that amplification of where we are. Ubiquity, being out there, on video, online, on podcasts, everywhere else. That is what these 4 days are about. That is what we're gonna be training you towards. That is our effort, our mission, our push, our pull with you. And if you're in that, it's gonna be an amazing 4 days. If you're stoked to be here, say, I'm here! Yeah. Give yourselves a big round of applause for being here. I will say it, 3 billion new people. It's our time. It is our time. Everyone say, it's our time. It's our time. 3 billion new people. Where are you gonna be? What are you gonna be saying? What do you wanna explain, teach, train? 3 billion new people. You'll never reach more people or make more money than you will in these next few years if you're there. If you're left behind, you're left behind. If you're there, it's going to be this ride that you'll never forget. It will be that thing just like they had in the Industrial Revolution or when TV or radio, then when TV came out. And we've been talking about the internet a lot. Obviously, you all been living in it. We've had it on our phones for 5 years, but the world hasn't. So now as they catch up and do what you did 10 years ago, browse, look for people, follow people, ask questions. Oh my gosh, we don't even know what it means. I've never been more excited, ever. Never been more excited than I am. I'm watching the next 4 years, it's gonna be so extraordinary, and the thought leaders will emerge, and as the world gets rattled and shooken up by all this new change, they're gonna be looking for a steady voice, yours. They're going to be looking for a voice of compassion, yours. They're going to be looking for a voice of truth, of knowledge, of patience, of wisdom, yours. They're gonna be looking for you, and if you're there, you will lead us. If you are there, you will lead them. If you are there, we got hope for this society. So get there. Turn the person left, right, shake them and say, get there.